Thank you, Mole, for speaking so passionately. I mean, you can see the passion in his eyes. So yes, thank you so much. So the thing about this is, most of the time, I won't tell you a lie. Getting here sometimes, the very first few times is always very, very. Okay, please, can you help me mute your mic? Mr. John, please, can you help me mute your mic? Thank you so much. Now, so see, it's a whole different environment when you come in here. And so there's always the fear of, oh, not getting a job, or the fear of, but in the end, it's about confidence. One thing you need to always have in your mind is, you came in here with a tier 1 visa. Tier 1 visa. You came in here with a tier 1 visa. That's one thing you need to understand. Like, you came in here with a tier 1 visa. And so sometimes when you may feel afraid, or you may feel, oh, I'm not up to it. Think about the fact that you came in here with one exceptional, or as an exceptional leader. So Mr. Babafemi, please, can you help me mute your mic? Thank you. As an exceptional leader, and so that should prop up your confidence to say, yes, this is me. And it should propel you to go and get what you need to get. Please, can you help me mute your mic? So now there's a question here which says, what is the advantage of the Global Talent Visa? Please, can you also just keep maybe dropping your questions on the comment section? I've seen the first question which says, what is the advantage of the Global Talent Visa over the Startup Visa? So let me talk about the Startup Visa. The Startup Visa gives you maximum 2 years. Maximum 2 years. And after which, if you don't want to stay beyond that, you may now have to switch to a different type of visa. Another thing is, you can't extend your Startup Visa. You can't extend it. But then the difference between that and this visa is that when you get the promise, the exceptional promise. Mr. Olaniwaju, please, can you help me mute your mic? Please, thank you. Mr. Olaniwaju, please, can you help me mute your mic? Okay, yes, thank you so much. Okay, so when you apply as a promise, the promise gives you 5 years. So that means 5 years of living in the UK to do anything you want, work anywhere you want, build any business you want, travel to wherever you want. It gives you a temporary residency, 5 years. So it's going to take you that 5 years. After that 5 years, then you apply, you can now be eligible to apply for your permanent residency. Then for exceptional talent, not the promise now, it's 3 years. It takes you 3 years to get your permanent residency. So you can see that this still trumps. So Mr. Toby, hope this answers your question. This still trumps the advantage that Startup Visa brings to you. So now, while we're going to proceed, Mr. Joshua, please get ready. Mr. Joshua, are you here? Okay, he's not here yet. So the next question says, do you think an experienced IT support personnel?
Yeah, I'm here, boss. I'm here.
Okay, just get ready. You'll be here, and you'll be in the next 15 minutes. Thank you so much. So do you think an experienced IT support personnel has a chance to get this visa as opposed to a programmer, for example? So IT support personnel. So let me tell you something about what technician looks at. Is your company a product-led digital technology company? Is its revenue tied to its products? Okay. Second, third is, what role do you perform? IT support, do you work in IT support personnel? Do you go beyond your day-to-day activities in your office to partake in some other tech events? Say, for example, as a panelist, as a speaker, as a judge, or something in community building, but in tech. Okay, have you contributed to the growth of a company as an IT support personnel? What evidence can you bring to show that, oh yes, genuinely, beyond reasonable doubt, to someone who does not know you, that you, what do you call it? That you contributed to the growth of this company in terms of revenue, in terms of sales, in terms of regional growth, in terms of perhaps maybe investment. Okay, how do you contribute to, have you led a team? Have you contributed to a product, or have you helped your company, let's say, maybe around innovation? Have you built an innovative product for your company or supported? These are things that you looks at. Have you won an award? How much do you earn? So while that may be I mean, compared to the UK standards, while that may be a bit, what do you call it, different in terms of perspective, they also look at how much you earn. So and they also look at revenue that the company you work with has attained. Okay, the next question says, so Patsy, if you're on the call, please help me document these questions on a notepad. Thank you so much. So next one says, do you think if you own your startup in tech, but aren't making money like the big techs, you create game apps, but aren't cashing out so much, which area do you fall in? Okay, Patsy, are you on the call, please?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please help me document some of these things. Thank you so much. Okay, so it says if you own your company, your startup, but aren't making money like the big techs, you create games and apps, but aren't cashing out so much, which area do you fall in? So if you own a company and you create games, so you're under the games space. So even if your company is not making money in terms of, it's not making money, the question is, what about growth? What about impact? Okay, is it growing? How many people use your games? On the Play Store, on the Apple Store, how many downloads do you have? How many feedbacks do you have? And how many monthly users do you have? You have to show growth at some point in time. And so the thing about the criteria, I was going to get there, but for this question, I'm going to answer it. So Technician has a mandatory criteria, and then it has 4 optional criteria. So what either person, being a talent or a talent promise, is supposed to pass. Is supposed to pass the mandatory and then any of the 2 options. So option 4, I always start from 4. Option 4 is academic, proving academic prowess. Option 3 is impact. Option 2 is outside of your work, what you've done outside of your day-to-day activities, and 1 is innovation. So for here, innovation, you're going to have to prove some form of revenue that beyond earning, that this innovative product you built, be it a game, beyond just supporting only your salary, okay, that it also pays salaries of a few people. So you also have to prove revenue. No matter, beyond paying your salary, you have to prove that revenue for innovation. Now for number 3, which is, what do we call it? Impact. You need to show sales, regional growth. Oh, Dr. Prince, please, can you help me mute your mic? You need to show regional growth. You need to show some form of investment, some form of revenue. So they don't just want someone who just builds and get by. They want businesses that have been built and can at least show some reasonable revenue. So Mr. Kelvin, I hope I answered your question. So you still fall in, just that you will need to find a way to tie into the revenue, to actually show revenue, and most importantly, growth. Most importantly, growth. So if you can't show innovation in number 1, perhaps you have some work outside of your day-to-day activity. You can prove that. Then you can show some other things. So even if you can't show revenue, but you can show growth of your startup, of your tech startup, your game business, users, feedback. That's wonderful. Then you also fit in. I hope I've answered the question, Mr. Kelvin. Then what chance does a tech recruiter have? So the question is, a tech recruiter, let's think about a platform like LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs kind of is like a recruiter platform. So whoever built it said, oh, I built a platform like LinkedIn Jobs. You're a tech recruiter. You help people recruit for companies, for companies recruit talent. So you also are eligible because why? It starts your revenue. Say for example, Otta, for example, OTTA.com, Otta or which other company? There used to be a company called Jobs in Nigeria, for example. Now you build the company, you build the tech company, but it helps people recruit talents. How companies recruit talents, but it has a product. A product could be the website. It could be a platform that allows people to go and register, put their profiles on the platform, and of course, most importantly, allows other recruiters to come and see the talents. That's a product. So long it's tied to your revenue and you can show that revenue, then you are also eligible. So let's see the next one. I hope I answered your question, Michael. Sifo is here. What's the cost of processing with your team? Okay, Sifo, I'm going to get there. There's full application costs, and there is also the call for the session. I'm going to get there. Participants, please help me note that question. And someone that gained an already existing technology to improve a specific IT process in an organization. Improving IT process. Again, I'm going to say, so long whatever you're doing is tied to growth, is tied to revenue, and you can prove it, or it's tied to innovation, and you can prove it. So be it, so be it, what do you call it? Be it a process you facilitated, something you implemented, a growth you helped achieve, a large milestone, something that contributes to the growth of a business, you can also apply. Okay, will the recorded session be shared? Okay, yes, it's going to be shared. It's going to be shared. At least you catch on when Mr. Imole was talking about the benefits of the visa. How about tech sales? We do not create products, but sell products directly from original equipment manufacturers. Okay, that's a problem. They need those who actually create products. So there's somewhere you're going to see where it says, it talks about this tech sales and consultancies and agencies. So your company needs to be building products, not selling products of others. I hope that that makes sense. But of course, you can always go back and forth on this, but that's what it is, what it says. Your company must be building products, not selling that of others. Okay, let's see, what's the next question? Like my company had an obsolete process of data output generation, but I introduced data analytics tools, which saved them millions of naira. Wonderful. So if you help the company save millions of naira, that's wonderful. If you can show documents that, yes, I helped them do this, then you are already on your way to building your document. What about a freelancer? So a freelancer, oh, you work for as a UI UX designer for a company, for one company in the morning, like most young tech people do now. Then in the evening, you enter another shift, you're working for another company in the US again. So long you're building products, okay? And as they say, for example, as a programmer, you build products, you build their software infrastructure, and you can say, yes, I built these things, this product, and you can get attestations to say, yes, we built it. You can show evidence. Then you're also on your way. Being a freelancer, the question is, as a freelancer, where are you working? You're also working at product companies tied to products. Then you can also, tech products, then you can also apply. Let's see. Those contributions made as a team member count, does that count? That does not directly mention your name in the publications. Good question. Good question, Coyote. So that is why it says outside of your day-to-day activity. So why it doesn't mention your name in the publications, outside of your day-to-day activity, who are you? Do you have publications that you have facilitated yourself out there that talks about you, what you have done? Say, for example, myself. I don't know if any of you, I don't know if any of you tried to put my name on Google, but when you do that, you're going to see my name for at least up to 5 pages of Google on different websites based on things that I've done. Please, can you mute your mic, Stephanie, please? Thank you. Based on things that I've done, you're going to see publications, you're going to think things that I wrote, you're going to see other things tied to me only, then talks about my company in second place. Then you probably see some other things that talks about my company in first place and myself in second place. So this is something that you have to deliberately sit down and work out on your own, work out on your own. Of course, we are also here to help you, to guide you, to tell you, okay, this is how you need to structure, call it your digital blueprint. This is how you need to, so create a roadmap, and so this is how you need to structure your digital blueprint to be online. Of technical support. Technical support, so long it's tied to tech sales and products, then you are good to go. So I'm going to hold on to the questions now. So Pastor, please remind me, I stopped at I think at Coyote and Apolake, so keep that in mind. So we can proceed some other things, and then we can have Mr. Joshua. So Mr. Joshua came in, he's a civic tech professional who I mentioned earlier. He's going to talk in a few minutes. Okay, so just going to proceed. Allow me to share my screen now to proceed again. Okay. Okay, it's just a minute from current slide. Okay. So we're done with this session. Now, let me tell you a bit about myself. So this is going to answer some of the questions that some of you already have in terms of eligibility document, in terms of criteria, meeting your criteria. So in 2018, I wanted to apply for this program, but I wasn't there yet. So mentally, I built a roadmap to say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is where I need to be. And these are things I need to document. So most importantly, I built some products in my company or companies I've worked for. But what did I not have? I did not have work outside of my day-to-day activities. What technician calls having work outside of your day-to-day activities, being at events that, so these are more like a charity events that your company did not sponsor. Are you following now? Being at speaking events, being a judge, being at training events, international training events, or even local, but they have a reasonable number of attendees. And so between 2017 and 2019, I started working with the US Department of State, doing a lot of trainings for them all over Africa, mostly around government tracking government infrastructure, especially from the data point of view. And when I wanted to apply, the good thing was that, I mean, I wasn't thinking about it at the point in time, but I knew that somehow, when I look back, I was doing that. Okay, I'm working with Tech Camp by the US Department of State in DC for over 2 years. When I needed a letter of recommendation, because technician requires that you go to top industries or leaders of industries to get 3 key letters of recommendation. These are people who will say, oh, this is who you are, this is what you've done, and this is what makes you a leader. There's a guide to it. They must endorse you. They must write to you, write to technician first and send a letter to you to also join in your application. So when I now wanted to apply, after doing all this work for them, the first picture is from 2017 event. The second picture down is for 2019 event. And when I wanted to write, the head of the programs didn't even waste time. She gave me the best endorsement that from all the 4 endorsements I had. She wrote 2 good pages and added her CV at the end of it. So it's also required for the CV to be at the end of it. Maximum letter should be at the maximum 1,100 words. If I wasn't a good trainer or I didn't participate in this event, she wouldn't show such a goodwill. Okay. Now, the next one, I had an innovation fellowship I got in 2017 as well, and I was asked to do one thing, but I didn't just stop at doing one thing. I did more than one thing. I was asked to use a software developed by QZ at the point in time called the Atlas to help train one organization. But what did I do? I used it to train more people. So the people I was supposed to train were just maybe no more than 20. But guess what? At the end of the 6-month fellowship that I had trained over 200 people. And so when it came for the awards, whatever, I won the award in 2017. And what did this give me? It gave me the opportunity to. That was my first time in the US, in New York City. I was at New York Times, Columbia School of Journalism, ICFJ, and so many other tech companies in the US. That is me talking about my projects at the ICFJ office. At the time, I didn't know I was going to need this, but down the line, I needed it. Okay. And when it was time for me to also do what? Go for a letter. This was in 2020. I went to them at QZ. I said, I need a letter. And QZ gave me a letter. Also a very good letter as well. Their head of news at the point in time gave me a letter. Okay. And so in the end, it's about how much you extend yourself beyond your day-to-day activities. For a lot of people, it's fine, of course, just doing your normal day-to-day work. But it also makes sense to also reach out and contribute to work outside of your office. The next one is about some work I did for Bloomberg, some event I attended for Bloomberg. I think it was August of that year or so, and I got the letter of 2018 or so, and I got the letter to be part of this in 2019. I was pretty surprised that I was invited. I think in 2019, I came to the UK in 2019 to do some other things, and I went to Bloomberg office. I asked them, I said, how did you guys find me? How did you guys get to invite me for this event? And you know what they said? They said they had to get a contractor outside of the office to look for people who fitted several things. AI, robotics, journalism, and virtual reality. And based on the information they could find online, I was the best they could find that could match these different sub-tech sectors, because I've done things in them. And of course, they made me lead speaker at the event, which was going to happen later in October. Was it October? Yeah, in November, sorry, of 2019. And so you can see there, so when you are trying to build your evidence, these are some of the things you collect. You say, how do I tell technician or somebody who does not know me before that I was at this event? The three evidence you see here are the kind of evidence that you provide. The first one is this, what you see on your left, below on your left. You see my ID card there, says my name and shows I was at the event. You see the booklet there, the front page and the inner page, which shows my session and what I was talking about. The story I was going to be talking about. Now, you also have a picture of me actually talking to a group of people. And then, of course, on your website, you have me as one of actually on the website, I was the lead speaker on the website. And so when you show this evidence to someone, you put it in a document, somebody who does not know you, you're giving them proof beyond reasonable doubt that you were at this event.
You want that? Hello, my HOD.
Sorry for that break conversation. Okay, so beyond that, you can show that beyond reasonable doubt, you were at this event. So this is a level of proof you need to bring for your documentation. Now, look at the next one. While I was searching myself online, I found out that some projects I've done in 2018 have been quoted in a research paper, something around society and media, for being a proprietor of robotics journalism in Nigeria. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know it, but someone had. I've seen it. I eventually saw it in a paper when I was gathering my evidence. And guess what? It's there as part of my evidence. It says here, in Nigeria, the earliest known use of algorithm or robot to generate news stories in public domain was when Fintel Envoy, a bot which was developed in 2018 by my organization and also by me. Okay, so this alone would tell someone, okay, this guy actually is somebody. I didn't write this. I saw the paper online, okay, while I was trying to build my evidence. So these are kind of things that when you do some things that are a bit innovative, you don't know how far people have written about you and the kind of evidence that you need. So you need to mentally go online, Google yourself, save what you see, document what you see what you could do better. See what you could do better about yourself. So let's go again. The last one is my designing the Mozilla Festival. So Mozilla Foundation, the Mozilla Firefox, the foundation, they host a festival every year in London, and they bring over 4,000 tech people. And I was lucky to have worked with them for 2 years, designing this festival. And I'm going to tell you, so what I always tell people, which is one of the things we do on our call, to try to understand where you're coming from, and based on an experience, tell you where you need to go to, how you need to position yourself for events, how you need to get this event. I tell you about this event. I woke up 2019, saying I needed to be in about 10 countries. I ended up going to 6 countries. But I mean, shy of 10, yeah, 6, that worked. But you see, it was deliberate. I woke up on January 1st and said, you know what, this is going to happen. So what did I do? I created an email about myself, about the things I've done, and I started sending out to people, right, to different events. How did this one come about? One of the events I applied for, the founder of the event, the organizer of the event, emailed me and said, sorry that the scholarship for this event has ended, but we have an event that they are partners on, and they feel that I'll be very good for. They sent me the event website. What did I do? I went to the website. I read everything about the event, which was the Mozilla event. I went to the contact page. I copied what I had written, and I pasted it in the contact page, and I sent it. I went back to the person and I said, okay, please, I've done this. This was the message I sent. I hope to hear back from them. And guess what? 2 weeks after I heard from them, I still took the response. I went to the guy again and said, this is what I got from them. He said, okay, he's going to put a few words for me. And he did. And that week I got a call. I think I was in Rhapsody somewhere in, I think I was at the ShopRite in Keja with a friend, and I got a call. And I said, Baba, they come. I stepped out, take the call. So while at the event, guess what? I applied to be a speaker at the event. But you know what happened? They took me, they said, you know what, after speaking with them on the call, a week after they called me, they said they don't want me to be a speaker at the event, that they want me to be part of the organizers because of my vast experience in the space, part of the organizers. And that was amazing. And that's how I got to work with them for 2 years. I didn't work with them last year because I was moving countries. So I had a lot to do. Last 1 year has been just trying to, you know, hold myself and hold them, my family down. So I haven't had the time for events, but this is how you go about it. So now, how does it work? For technician, how does it work? So the stage one, so the stage one is applying for endorsement. Stage two is what? Applying for the visa proper. So the way it is that you apply for endorsement, you go to the technician platform, you apply for endorsement. So on the UK Home Office, there's an amount of money they ask you to pay, which is £4, £5, £6, which you pay to get endorsed for the stage one. So when you pay that money, they give you a code, which you go to technician platform, and when you apply, you put the code there. When you get verified, you have 15 days to submit all the documents. So I always tell people, try not to do that first. What you need to do first is to build your documents, 15 documents, 10 evidence documents, 3 letters of recommendation, your CV, and your personal statement. And that's what my organization does for applicants. We help you, we work with you to understand what you need, where the deficits are, where the gaps are, and then we'll try to help you build a roadmap. So we build a roadmap for some people who just want a roadmap to know what they have, what they don't have, and what they need to get, okay, by going on sessions with you, calls or with you to do that as well. Then we also do what we call the full application process as well. But for everyone on this call, we are saying, let's even look at, understand where you are or where you need to be. Let's even look at how do we help you build your roadmap? How do we help you understand where you are and where you need to be? So what I do is go on a call. So I call it the standard package. What do? We sit down with you, just a minute. And this is everything we do. We assess your work experience, your roles, discuss your personal statement. How do you write a personal statement? What kind of story do you tell? What is it based off of? Who are your key references? Reason why it's important to discuss that because you may want to use your brother or your cousin as your reference. We don't recommend that. Okay, you may want to use your uncle. No, you want to use a minister. Someone says, oh, can they use a minister? I said, no, you can't use a minister. Does the minister have a background in tech? He said, no. Does he work in a company that builds products? He said, no. I said, no, you can't use a minister. So long it's not someone who is in a tech space or a company and they must be influential, it must be a big influential company that you must use. So we also need to also look at that, and so you can understand the caliber of people you need to work with. And of course, we need to look at your accomplishments or contributions in your employment, different employments. Look at your ability, your technical ability, look at your capacity, your technical capacity, look at your things you've done for your company to help them build growth, build commercial capacity. Then look at, okay, are you an entrepreneur? And then beyond that, we'll create documents that help you to get to where you need to get while we're on the conversation. Or you can search me, Blazabo on Google. The very first thing that's going to come out will be my LinkedIn profile. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Reach out to me. You can even send me direct messages. That's fine. If you have any questions that you still have after this session, go to LinkedIn, send me a message. I'll respond to you. Or you can send us an email to jakba.tech@gmail.com. Okay. So I don't know if you have any questions, if anyone has any more questions, and you can see where we go from here. Any questions?
There's a new question.
Okay, if you're working as a data analyst and you do something outside your regular job, must you earn from innovation outside the regular job for that experience to be eligible? Okay, so 2 things: innovation, put innovation on one side, put outside of your job in one side. So let's talk about outside of your job. So the things you do outside of your job must be not paid. They must be in a charitable situation, okay? Being that you were invited you weren't paid, and you didn't pay to be at the event. You didn't pay to be a speaker. You didn't pay to be a panelist. Okay, you were invited in a non-payment mode, more like a charitable structure to an event where you are in a position to be a speaker or a panelist or assess the work of others or thereabout. It must not be paid. The moment that is a payment situation, it's going to be not eligible. Now let's talk about, you mentioned innovation. So when we talk about innovation, so to prove innovation, so separate it from outside of your work. To prove innovation means that you're proving innovation either as a founder of a company, or proving innovation either as maybe a senior executive in a company, or maybe there are times when the companies that have entrepreneurs that allow their staff, their employees to contribute to products, right? More like companies who have open spaces where you can contribute to products. You can, what do you call it? You can bring your opinions, your ideas, or designs about new products or new features. So if you work for such a company and something that the company has allowed you to do has been innovative and somehow has led to maybe some level of growth in your company, and your company can actually write you a letter to say, yes, Mr. A brought this new feature, and thanks to him, this feature has made us $1 million, or this feature has made us $20,000, then that is where you can prove this innovation, right? So also you said you've been working as a data analyst. Yes, so as a data analyst, you probably have done so many other things in the space of data. And
more than 10.
It's people like you that technician requires, because there is that particular session that says data analyst or data scientist. So I hope I answered your question. Any other question? Did I answer your question, Ms. Olariwa? Did I answer your question? Any other question, please? Mr. Abubakar, you want to say anything? Okay, I think, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're talking about tech support. Can you unmute and ask me, and let's talk about it, Toby, if you can talk, so I can understand your situation. Okay. Okay, so, okay, please go ahead, but I can attempt to answer the question. So tech support could be a lot of things. It could be tech infrastructure, it could be tech product support. Okay, it could be a process you're supporting. But what technician looks at is, what is the result of that process? What is the result of the work you've done? So what company are you working for? If you work for a product company where you act as a tech support, what do you do for them? What you do for them, what did it lead to? Okay, so if, say for example, tech support, maybe it's a tech product support, for example, I'm not sure what kind of tech support it is. Okay, I've been working on software developer. Okay, I'm going to answer that eventually. So let's say it's a tech product support, for example, and you can show evidence of the work you've done in that space, then wonderful. Good, product-led company. Okay, what can be done to meet the mandatory? Thanks. So the question is, at Hectagon, what company exactly are you working with? Can you tell me what company you're working with? So I can understand and see, because someone who works in a telecom might feel, oh, I'm not eligible, but there's a way around it. So if you tell me the company exactly, I can understand. A technician specifically says product-led digital company. Okay, public sector. So I have someone who works in the public sector who is, let's say, maybe deputy or maybe innovation chief, for example, innovation chief for a government, a state government, for example. And so as an innovation chief, or maybe assistant, special assistant on new technology, right? Or innovative technology or something to a government or to a bureau, for example. It means that that's what you are in the tech space as an SA or an innovation or bureau chief in innovation. And so long that your department or ministry or the government you work for, so long you have products that you roll out, it could be public products, but then it could be a digital product, right? So long you have those products, because in the end, what technician is looking at is product-led. Either a tech sector or something is a company is product-led. So long you have products that you're constantly rolling out. You had Joshua who talked about he being working in a media firm, but then they were having products, they were rolling out tech products. But then the tech products were tied to citizens. They were citizen products, civic products, but then they were still tech products because they were tech, they had tech infrastructure. So long this is the case, Hectagon, then you are eligible to apply for this. Focus on what? The product itself. So long your department or ministry or government, so long it's building products and you are part of that product process, development process, then you are eligible to apply. What is the next one? For someone not working in a product-led company, what can be done to meet the mandatory requirement? Okay, I've answered this question. It has to be a product-led company. If you're a product-led company, then perhaps there are other spaces like architecture, like entertainment and arts, like what do you call it? What's the last one? Research. So Hectagon, maybe you may tell me exactly perhaps the kind of company you're working with. Okay, outsource partner with Microsoft and Micro Focus. So my question is about my eligibility. As I understand that as tech support rep involves customer service. Okay, so the question is, you work for an outsourced partner with Microsoft and Micro Focus. So the companies you work with, Microsoft, outsourced partner, what do? Do you outsource? If it's tech outsourcing, you may not be eligible. Tech outsourcing may not be eligible because I want to pick out somewhere from my slide where I want to, I think I need to mention somewhere on the slide. Let me just go back a bit so you can see this part of it on the slide. Let's see, it should be somewhere here. Let's see, yes. So this includes, so it says that this includes general consultancies, outsourcing, and technology-related consultancy groups focus on process, service delivery, or solution systems architecture. Such firms do not meet the guidelines, particularly those primarily serving large corporate or multinational corporate MNC customers. Work at specific agencies may be considered. So agencies, so for tech, for the man who says he works for a public sector. So you see here it says work at specific agencies may be considered if the agencies are extremely focused on product innovation in a specific industry and are well recognized for their contribution to that industry. So product, like I said, product focused, product led, then you can apply even if it's a public sector. So I hope this answers your question. Are there more questions? Can a technical writer be considered? Technical writer more like a, I think I'm looking at the user research person. It can be considered because the question is, technical writer for what? What company do you work with? Is it a product-led digital technology company? Let's see what we have here a bit. I've been, just a minute, please. I've been working as a software developer for more than 7 years, but no event record or open source contribution. Is there still time and strategy for me to work on this? Yes, there's time to work on this. So it's about you creating a roadmap. That's a roadmap to say you want to be here in X number of months. Okay, you want to be here in 8 months, you want to be in 9 months, you want to be here in 6 months. But then the question is, what do you need to do to get there? So what we do on the call is we sit down with you, we brainstorm. We look at what you've done, that's so Tosin, look at what you've done in 7 years. What is it that you've done? Where can we still find them? And then we recommend how you can document these things, okay? And then when we recommend the documentation structures, you begin to document. And then we also tell you, based on the deficits, these are the things you need to do. These are the gaps you have, but these are what you need to do between now and X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. Like I told you, the visa does not end, okay? It's continuous, it keeps rolling over, it doesn't have a limit. So, and it's the best this next thing when it comes to visa for anyone coming to the UK as a tech person or any visa at all. It's a tier 1 visa. And so because it doesn't end, you can build a roadmap, take your time. On the call, we can define how long, what you need to do, and then we'll see how long it's going to take you to get there. And then you can deliberately start doing it. So for example, the lady I mentioned that has been an investor and has invested over 500 million in startups in Nigeria, as of last 2 years. Currently right now, while she's made a payment for about 4 months, she's now taking her time to build the evidence. Yesterday I went on LinkedIn, I saw an interview she had somewhere with some platform. I saw another speaking event she has been part of. So she's now taking her time to do the things that I've told her to do. Get to this interview, write this article. So we've structured all the articles she needs to write and where the articles need to go to. Okay, all the kind of interviews she needs to have and what the interviews should be about. If you've done things over the years, we'll pick some things you need to talk about and then find where they need to be published. And then we'll structure your growth that way. And then eventually, when we'll see how long it's going to take you to get there. And then when it gets there, we can now review and you'll now be where you need to be. So that's why we have that call to brush you up and get look at your deficits and get to where you need to be. So Tosin, hope I answered your question. So documentation is very, very, very important. And so for the technical writer, I think I missed the person. Technical writer, yes, so long you are in a product-led company, you can apply, you can be eligible, but to assess your eligibility, we need to sit down and know what you've been doing in your company and your deficits, and then we can advise properly, and that will be on the call. Okay, Pasi, please also post the link again on the call. Okay, so Adane says, what of someone working for an oil and gas, but I handle IT support role for an IT solutions and tooling? So good. Remember somewhere it says agencies, all kinds of organizations can apply, but the question is it product and innovation focused? So here it says IT support role on IT solutions and tooling. So IT solution means that there are products that your company has, and so long these products or these IT solutions are tied to your company's revenue, and you can prove or show evidence of your work and the work you've done pertaining these products and how it has grown your company or contributed to the growth of your company, then you're also eligible to apply. So let's get you on a call, Danny, and let's see how we can build your roadmap and find the things you don't have and things you have, and how we can advise. So he says, I mean, Microsoft outsourced their support and company like tech experts are one of IT clients. So they are one of the companies that help provide support for Microsoft. So I currently work with tech experts, okay. Okay, so for tech experts, so long tech experts has products, right? So it's about now you defining, does my company have products that are tied to their revenue? Okay, and what I do, does it contribute to the growth of those products or the growth of my team or my company? If the answer is yes, always think about products first, because that's what technician requires, product-led digital technology company or startup. So if the answer is yes, then please. 2 people have raised their hands. Yes, please. Abdulatif, please. Yes, you can talk. Abdulatif.
Can you hear me?
Okay, go on.
Okay, well done. Okay, for me, I was one who asked about tech sales the other time.
Okay.
Yes, so for me, what we do is that we sell all these products, like this this guy that I just mentioned, tech expert now. So we sell various products from different OEM. Do you understand me, sir?
Okay, go on.
Yes, so how you told me initially that we do not, that I'm not eligible for it.
Yes, so
but okay. So
the question, the product you sell are not your product, but you sell other people's products, yes?
Yeah, like Microsoft, yes. Directly from Microsoft. Good. We are like a distribution company. So okay. We distribute different products from Cisco to Dell to Microsoft.
So the challenge there is that what you guys only sell other people's product, and which is what you make money from. Yes.
Yes.
So what technician is looking at is people who build products which are tied to their revenue. So let's say, assuming Tech Expert has a platform that enables the sales of whatever it is they are selling. Are you following my point now?
Yes.
If you have a product, for example, maybe an online platform or let's say an e-commerce platform that enables the sales of their product. It's a digital platform. That's a product. So which means it's a product enabling the sales of other products or sales of anything else. Because why? Someone who's an e-commerce who has built an e-commerce company can apply for this. Why? Because they have an e-commerce company that enables the product and the sales of other people's products. Do you understand my point now? So that's what can make Tech Experts eligible.
Okay, I think I understand you now. So let's say if my company has an e-commerce angle where we sell other people's products,
yes,
then I can qualify for it.
Yes, because that will be the product tied to the company's revenue.
Okay, but I could still apply as a tech sales.
You can apply as tech sales, yes, but when it comes to your evidence, you need to provide evidence to show, okay, when they ask you about what product have you contributed, what in fact, because there's places where they will ask you about product architecture, product documentation, wireframes, codes. You need to provide this evidence. So what do you do? So if it's about technical writing or tech sales, you need to show. So tech sales, most importantly, is we say, oh, we have built this product, and I'm a tech sales professional or tech sales head, and I've helped sell this product to 5 regions in my country. And this is the data to show it. This is how much we've made. Do you understand my point now? Product your company built, not product you are for other people.
Okay. Well noted. Okay.
Thank you so much. Reddington, you want to say anything? IT support Reddington, you want to say anything? Okay, let's see.
No, not at all. I think I had already.
Thank you so much.
No, I had already spoken before. I just want to follow from it and understand from the beginning and see where I fit in. For me, I work with Reddit. I head the IT department, Reddington, and which has 7 branches, which we've deployed EMRs and all of that. So I'm just trying to see where I fit in and how I can start the process, I don't know whether years of experience matters, but for me, I've had over, this is my 25th year, so I don't know. Okay. I'm just trying to listen to it. I don't know what.
One, yes. The places you worked previously work as well. I mean, you probably have also worked on other tech companies. They also count as well.
Okay.
They also count because so on the call, what we do on the call is to look at where you currently work and where you worked before. So where you currently work, what do you do? Okay. Where you worked before, if you've had 3 or 4 previous working experience or job roles, what were they? What did you do at that point in time? And how do they meet up to what technician is asking for you?
Okay.
So when we get on the call, we ask you these questions, we understand everything you've done. How does it tie to product? How does it tie to revenue? How does it tie to activities or systems developed, or maybe growth of some particular thing, your company or regional sales, and how does it contribute to overall growth of your company on these different aspects? And we do the same thing for the previous places you've worked. And we plug everything to what is relevant for technician. And when we're done, we have a document for you to say, this is a document for you to tell you, this is what you have, this is what you don't have. And then we also recommend and say, this is what you need to do. So thank you so much, guys. I don't know if there are more questions. After this session, we're going to send out the video, a link to where you can find the video to watch. We're also going to send out a link to this Google Drive, and a link where this presentation is, and you can also look through it. So what we want to be doing constantly is that we're going to be hosting this session. We're going to try to host it once every month, and we're going to try to host it once every month. So if you have your colleagues, you have your friends, or any of your family who is in the tech, or into perhaps subtech sector and wants to also be part of this conversation to understand how do they want to move to the UK via the best visa program out there, tier 1 visa program out there, based on your work experience, based on the jobs they've done. And it's pretty much affordable than every other thing else, every other visa avenue. Then have them join us. So we have your emails and we'll communicate this information with you after this conversation. So thank you so much. If there are no more questions on the session, then Patsy, have you communicated with him? Please, can you drop your email?
Yes, I've taken his email. I'll send him a message.
Thank you so much. So everything else, if there is anything you think about, you want to ask us, please send us an email and ask us the question via email. If there's anything you don't get, ask us, we'll respond to you. And then so permit me to end this session right about now.